Abe didn't know that Santa worked so hard. Abe was 13 years old and loved reading books. In fact, he read them whenever he had any free time from homework. He especially enjoyed those with a science fiction theme. The wonderful imaginary world that the pages conjured up transported him to distant places and times where anything could happen. This was very different to the real world that he inhabited, with Christmas only 2 days away and everyone seeming to be stressed with all the preparations to be completed. His latest book helped to while away the long car journey that the family was making. They were all going to stay with Abe's grandparents, Johanni and Marata, in their huge house. They were both born and brought up in Lapland in Finland, but had moved to this country to look for work. They had often told Abe and his sister Maria stories of Santa, who they said was their neighbour. They also claimed that people from Lapland had a unique ability, which was to return home at any time they wished. If they imagined it, then it would happen. However, despite his grandparents' protestations to the contrary, Abe's mother, Anneli, had said that within the family this solely applied to Jani and Marata, as they were the only ones actually born in that distant country. As youngsters, Abe and Maria had been very sad about this, but as they grew older, the story was forgotten. The trip had left everyone feeling very tired and hungry, so after they had taken all of the luggage into the house, they attacked the traditional Lapland hot meal that Marata had prepared for them with gusto. Then they said good night to each other, and Abe climbed the stairs to his room, yawning as he reached for the doorknob. Well, you can imagine his surprise when, on going through the portal, he was greeted by a cheery wave and smile from Sugarplum, one of Santa's elves. He was in the warehouse, and all of Santa's crew were extremely busy packing all of the presents that were going to be taken to the little children all over the world the following evening. He was advised to go into the next room and get changed into some overalls to prevent his nice clothes getting dirty. Abe didn't question the request, and after doing as he was bid, was instructed by Evergreen to make a start on the presents on the nearest table. Abe commenced packing the toys and other gifts into the boxes that lay next to them. First, he made sure that they were properly wrapped for protection in case a sudden jolt should damage them. Then he neatly put them into their boxes and sealed the lids with tapes. The next task was to glue a label onto the container, on which he wrote the recipient's name so that Santa would know to whom each one was destined. He then moved on to the next present and continued his duties all night. Eventually, morning came, and Gloria Santa came over to offer him some breakfast. She expressed appreciation at how hard Abe had worked, and so put some fresh Lapland nervals onto his breakfast cereal as a treat. This is a delicious fruit only known to the inhabitants of those cold northern climes, and Abe enjoyed them so much that he requested a second helping. Then Gloria Santa said that it was time for him to return to his family, as everything was packed and ready for loading onto her husband's sleigh, which the elves could easily manage on their own. Abe passed through the door he had originally entered from and found himself outside his room, back on the landing at the top of the staircase, in his grandparents' house. Marata was just passing, said that she hoped that he had slept well, and asked if he wanted some breakfast, to which Abe replied that he was full and couldn't eat another thing. Marata gave a broad, knowing smile.